A bill to regulate what your kids learn is a step closer to becoming law in Indiana.
The bill places restrictions on what teachers can say about race, gender, and ethnicity in the classroom. Fox
59 State House reporter Kristen Eskow is live at the State House right now. She spoke with the governor and educators about the bill's potential impact. What are they telling you, Kristen?
Well, Daniel and Birachel, that bill hasn't sat well with many educators, some of whom were back here at the State House today in the Senate chamber during the committee vote. The bill now heads to the full Senate floor. Earlier, I had a chance to ask Governor Eric Holcomb where he stands on the legislation.
No.
The Indiana Senate Education Committee voting mostly along party lines to move forward on the school curriculum bill. Some parents and other supporters have argued the bill ensures transparency and neutrality in schools, but many educators have raised concerns. Erica Buchanan Rivera oversees equity and inclusion at Washington Township Schools.
Students deserve to understand the full scope of our history.
The bill would place some restrictions on how teachers discuss race, gender, and ethnicity, and would ban teaching that any group is superior or inferior to another. Though the bill allows the teaching of historical injustices, some believe it would prevent teachers from discussing some current or past events if it becomes law.
It would be difficult for teachers to have critical conversations about race within the classroom environment, or even conversations pertaining to discriminatory practices.
School officials say many Hoosier parents already have ways to voice concerns about lessons.
Any parent that would ever have any concerns, of course, can lift that to their school principal, to the district office.
I asked Governor Eric Holcomb where he stands on the bill, which was scaled back last week.
I think the bill's where it is now is a vast improvement on where it started. With the emphasis, rightly so, on transparency and parental engagement.
Governor Holcomb says he's waiting to see the final version of the bill before making a decision on whether he'd sign it.
Education represents not just a big part of our budget, but a big part of our state's destiny. So we need to get it right.
And if the bill does indeed pass the full Senate within the next few days, and changes that have already been approved would need to be negotiated with lawmakers over in the House before the bill would head over to the governor's desk, potentially for his signature. At the State House, Kristen Eskow, Fox 59 News.
Kristen, thank you. Governor Eric Holcomb was also asked today about his support for the bill involving transgender athletes in schools. Right now, the bill would mandate children play sports with the sports team of the gender they were assigned at birth. Holcomb says his support would be based on how the bill is written.
I agree adamantly that boys should be playing boys sports and girls should be playing girls sports, and mixed sports should be just that. So how we craft the actual language and support organizations like the IHSAA, who's done an admirable job to date, we need to make sure that they can continue to do just that, and organizations like them.
That bill is expected to be voted on today. We'll be sure to keep you updated on air and online when we know more.